Well, good evening, everyone. This is the Air Conservation Commission meeting, Thursday, November 19th, 2020. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Baker issued an emergency order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Public bodies otherwise governed by the open meeting law are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be broadcast live on Channel 8 and on Zoom. The public may participate remotely following the call-in information on the bottom of the live broadcast screen. For the Zoom meeting information relating to remote participation, please contact Cindy Knox, IT Director, at cknox@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8252 prior to the meeting. All right. Do we have, I'm sorry. In attendance this evening, commissioners are Jen Amaya, member, George Bacon, member, Jess Eugenio, clerk, Mark Phillips, vice chair, and myself, John Schmallenberger, chair. So do we have a confirmation of agenda?
The agenda is all set the way it's written.
So is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
Okay, it was the meeting, or the motion was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of meeting minutes on November 5th. Everyone read the minutes?
And I made one correction on page 3. I had the wrong dates for the violation notices. They run from June 16th to July 20th, not July 30th.
Okay. June 16th to July 20.
July 20, yep.
Any other corrections, comments? No. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes of November 5th as amended?
Second.
Okay, it was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Do a roll call. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Yes?
I
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Do we have any accounts payable?
do have some accounts payable. We have 3. We've got an invoice from Solitude Lake Management in the amount of $2,000 for task 5, which was performed. Let's see. So I'm doing accounts payable and letting people into the meeting at the same time.
Mhm.
Let's see. Perform post-treatment surveys at Ayer Ponds on 10/22 for the following ponds: Flanagan's, Pine Meadow, Sandy Pond, in the amount of $2,000. So the remaining outstanding piece of the contract is the $1,000 that will get an invoice after they submit our final report. So this $2,000 gets us nearly through the season, but there is one more invoice on the way after they complete that final report.
Okay. Any comments?
Oh.
Anyone? Nope. Is there a motion to pay? Is there a motion to pay Solitude the amount of $2,000 for post-treatment survey on, it was on Sandy, Flanagan's, and
Pine Meadow.
Pine Meadow.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. What else do we have?
We've got 2 invoices from Ecotech, one in the amount of $97.50, and the other in the amount of $2,798.70. And this is a little interesting because we've got them working on 2 different projects, and the invoices don't specify which projects these are for.
Should they?
Yes.
Well, it would be nice.
Yeah, we don't know which account they would come out of.
Right.
Wait, so I think if I look a little closely at the description, review flagging for September 17th and September 18th, that's got to be Stratton Hill.
Is that the 2,798?
Yes.
Okay.
But I should have looked more closely at these. I think maybe I need to call them and ask them to issue invoices that say which project it's for.
Joanne, I know back on October 22nd, we had a peer review invoice from Ecotech for $1,315. Is that on that same invoice, or is that totally different?
No, those should probably be on this. That's on the statement that. Yeah, so actually, this is what happens when I open the mail like 2 minutes before the meeting. So on this statement, it does say that the which bill is for which project. So the 2,998.70 is for Stratton Hill.
But on the actual invoice itself, it doesn't specify?
No, but on the statement it does. So I've got both the invoice and the statement.
Do either reference each other at all?
No, only that the amount is the same.
Okay.
So I think why don't we just put these aside, and I'll talk to them and ask them if they can give us an invoice that's a little more specific, because we submit the invoice to accounting, we don't submit the statement.
Right. That's kind of what I was wondering, right? If they get separated or whatever. So yeah, we need something to reference it. So
Yeah. Well, let's do these next time.
okay. Thank you.
And Joanne, you had one more?
No, the Solitude and the 2 from Ecotech.
Oh,
So
okay, it was the 2 from Ecotech. All right. So we'll put off those other ones until our next meeting, December 3rd. Our first item this evening is a public meeting request for determination of applicability, 52 Sandy Pond Road, Merrill Hoffman. Merrill Hoffman, are you with us this evening? Merrill, are you with us this evening? Nope. Okay. We did a site walk week and a half ago, I guess it was. went out to the house to look at the trees that she had flagged. And are there any comments from the commissioners that were on the sidewalk?
I don't know. I thought some of the trees were fine, the ones that were further from the house, and along the bank. I'm not quite sure I see good reason to take those down at this time.
I agree. It seemed like the large one that's the main issue, unfortunately. And then I think there's two right by the driveway. And those.
Yep. There was one that was dead that could come down, small one.
Mhm.
I thought there was one that was further away from the house, as you're looking at the house to the right.
Mhm.
At the base of it, it looked like it was an opening and it had sawdust basically was coming out of it. So it's probably not healthy. But the rest of them seemed to me that they were far enough away not to be a threat to the house and actually in pretty good shape. So I guess I'd like to know why she wanted those to come down.
I think the reason was that if she was having a crane there for the big one that is more of a threat, then that would save money in 5 years or so, but I'm not sure that's, for me, good enough reason.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Yeah.
I don't think it's a reason at all because the trees are they're not a danger to her home.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. And if they come down, then that's what they do, right?
Down
So-
into the pond.
Hello?
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 Yes.
Carol?
Oh, okay. I've been listening, so
Oh.
I'm available to answer questions.
Well, could you tell us, as you're looking at your house from the
Right.
street, the houses that are furthest to the right, there's like 4 or 5 fairly large pine trees that seem to be not to be a threat to your house that you've got flagged to come down. And I'm just curious as to why you want those to come down.
Okay. The reason why was, okay, if you're standing back from the road and you're looking, there are 3 exceptionally tall pine trees. And I may not have flagged them correctly, when I was looking at them, I'm not sure if I did. But there are 3 very, very tall ones. And I think we're all in agreement that the one that's on the left side of the house is definitely a threat to the house. And, I think that one definitely needs to come out. Since I'm going to need to use a crane to get the big threat out of out safely. It was the recommendation of the tree arborist that I take out the other 2 very large pines. And he said the reason why he gave to me was because of their size and their age and the fact that they are located, in essentially more of a wetland area. He said, the roots are not going to hold. And so they're not an immediate threat at this time. But you're going to need a crane to take those out when the time comes. And so he said, if you've already got the crane, now's the time to do that. Because if it's not a threat to my house, it could be potentially a threat to power lines or, somebody else's house because of their sheer size. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going on what he's recommending to me. You know, my biggest concerns, you know, is definitely the two that are next to the driveway, because, you know, I'd like to have the option of putting a garage in there. There is one that's definitely dead. The other one, you know, definitely drops, you know, branches and things on my car in the winter. So I wouldn't mind seeing that one go out, you know, and that would hopefully give me enough space to put a garage in, and I wouldn't need to take down any other trees. Then there were, there was definitely the one that was near the water that you can see it's got damage. Again, the arborist said that he suspected, but it wasn't clear at the time, that the one next to it was also infested and not healthy. So here again, I'm not a tree expert. I'm going on what he's recommending.
Yeah. Well, I understand the two next to the driveway. I can understand those coming down to make way for your garage, and the one that's has some issues further close to the water. But the one next to it looked pretty healthy to me. And if they're going to use a crane, they're not going to disturb the roots.
Right.
Hurt the tree. And it seems like the rest of them could stay. But again, I'm not an arborist either, so.
Was there a question of whether the right trees were flagged when we were there on the sidewalk, Merle?
You know, I wasn't sure, because when I stepped back, I remember he pointed out it's a lot easier to see from the road which ones are supposed to come out versus when you're in the woods and trying to figure out which tree goes where. But there were 3 of the really tall ones, because he said that those are nearing the end of their lifespan, and that he said he was concerned about those because of the fact that where they were growing, they're not going to have the healthiest root system. And so, you know, as I said, his recommendation, he said, you know, you could be fine, and then 5 years from now or so, you're going to need to bring a crane in to get those out. You know, it's like if you've already spending the $2,000 to bring in a crane, you might as well take those out now. That was his rationale.
Mark, do you have any thoughts on this issue?
Yeah, you know, I don't totally disagree, and I can understand, you know, economies of scale and everything. So again, I think if it was limited to just the larger ones, I'd probably be okay. You know, and obviously the dead one and the one to the left and the couple by the driveway. But I think, like you said, I think there was a couple other ones that more than likely could stay.
Yep.
So I guess that's where I'm leaning.
Okay.
Jen?
So,
Jen, how about you?
I'm the same page. Like, I don't think that all the ones we looked at need to go. The ones very far to the right, but if I mean, I'm not a tree person either, so.
Yeah. George, your thoughts?
Yeah, I pretty much agree that I'm not a tree person either. Yeah, probably the furthest ones from the house could stay. Even so, I mean, we're not clear cutting in there. There are trees remaining. So if we do take them out, the other trees probably fill in.
Yep. Do we need to get like a second opinion from someone who doesn't have a vested interest in bringing these trees down? Is that necessary or no?
What I would actually love to see would be just a little rough drawing of exactly which trees are which we don't have. Is that possible for you to do, Merle? Just, I counted 8 trees total. One, the big one to the left of the house, and then another 7.
Okay, because when I went out and I was looking, I realized, because it's, as I said, it's a lot easier when you're standing across the street to look up and see, because when he showed me which trees he recommended taking out, that's exactly what he did. And I probably should have just done that. Take you across the street and then point to you, okay, you know, these 2 very tall ones, you know, on the right side, those were the 2 he really wanted to take out while he had the crane. And then, of course, you know, I know that I wanted the 2 by the driveway. And then he pointed out certainly the one that had damage at the base. And he said that when he would be taking down that one, he'd be in a position to take a better look at the upper part of the neighboring tree.
Mhm.
And he said that would give him a better idea of the general health of that neighboring tree. And he said, you know, he would hold off on any judgment on that. And he also said that one was not pressing. You know, unlike the others, that one, you know, I told him, if we didn't take that one down right away, that's not going to be an issue. You know, we don't need a crane to take that tree down. We do need it for the 3 big ones.
Would you be opposed to me coming over and taking some measurements as far as the trees are from your house and from the street and that sort of thing, and trying to get,
No.
that's what saying, sort of a rough sketch to help us figure this out?
Sure. And I can also make sure that I did properly circle them, because then, as I said, it'll be a lot easier if somebody is, you know, standing there and saying, have I got the right one? That would help. You know, have one person tying it,
Yeah.
and another person saying, yeah, that trunk goes with that top.
Well, if you're not opposed, could I set something up with you and I could come over, or if anyone else wants to join me, they can come over and get some measurements and drop us a sketch of the trees and where they are.
Yes.
Can we do that this Saturday morning?
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else interested in taking a truck out in the woods? I'm happy to do it by myself. How about 8 o'clock?
Yep, that's fine.
All right, then I will see you at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
On Saturday, that is, what's that date?
21.
Saturday, 21. November.
Yep. 21.
8
21st.
All right.
John, we have a roll of flagging in the office. If that would be helpful, I can get it over to you.
Sure. Yeah, that would be great. So make a motion to continue this RDA until the 3rd? Is there a motion to continue, or to continue the RDA at 52 Sandy Pond Road, Merle, Hoffman, until November 3rd?
Or December 3rd.
What did I say? Oh, December 3rd. Oh my God, it's December already?
Oh my goodness.
Yikes.
Here's hoping he doesn't come soon.
Is there a second?
Second, sorry.
Yep. Okay, it was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
I,
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. We will continue this on December 3rd. And Merrill, I will see you on Saturday morning.
Okay,
All right. Thank you very much.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, the next item this evening is the public hearing continued notice of intent at 0 Central Avenue, John Hillier, DEP file number 100-0451, and they have requested that we continue this until December 3rd.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
correct. Is there a motion to continue the notice of intent at 0 Central Avenue, Mr. John Hillier, DEP file number 100-0451 until December 3rd?
I'll move.
Second.
Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess?
I,
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Public hearing or the enforcement order update, well, do we have anything to discuss with that? We're just going to continue that until the 3rd.
Yep, they kind of travel together, those two agenda items.
Does that need to have a motion to continue? No.
no.
Okay. Next item this evening is the public hearing, continued notice of intent at 0 Washington Street, Air Solar 2B, DEP file number 100-0444. Mr. Bouchard, there you are, sir. How are you this evening?
Very good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Yeah. So we have seen orders back and forth. Is there any discussion about the orders as they are written?
Through you, Mr. Chair, no, I think that we reviewed the orders and are satisfied with the orders if it pleases the commission.
Any discussion from commissioners or Joanne?
Just as we went through those, Joanne and I know I have limited visibility on them, unfortunately, but between environmental monitor, professional engineer, soil specialist, or whatever, we've got the right people in the right spots at the right points and things.
Oh boy, do we ever.
Okay, thank you. Great. Yeah, towards the end of the special conditions, there was another person in there. I don't know if we had mentioned it all, so I was just curious.
Any discussion from anyone that's listening or viewing? Nope. Okie dokie. Is there a motion to approve the orders of conditions at Air Solar 2B, DEP file number 100-0444?
and
Approve and sign.
I'm sorry, what?
Approve and sign.
Approve and sign.
Okay. So moved.
Second.
Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Do a roll call. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jen? I'm sorry, Jess?
I,
Mark?
Aye.
And Chairman votes aye. So we need to close this out. Is there a motion to close the public hearing at 0 Washington Street, Air Solar 2B, DEP file number 100-0444?
Pardon me,
So
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wondered if it was appropriate at this point to add discussion about the conservation restriction or if that should follow this vote.
Well,
No, This is Rohit, the applicant as well. Kyle, I apologize, but we decided this will not be on this agenda. It's not on the agenda
Very good.
in this motion with the agent. Sorry about that, Mr. Chairman, for interrupting.
Well, that's okay. No, it's okay. You cleared things up. That was helpful. No, does that help you, Kyle?
Yes, thank you very much.
So was there a motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
I,
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Okay. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, one more thing, just to, that was a motion to also sign?
Yes.
And just point of question to Joanne, is she's the one signing, and would it be possible, I don't know if she'll be in the town hall tomorrow to be able to pick up those orders?
My plan is to issue them on Monday when I issue all the other things that are being signed tonight. So
Thank you.
would you like me to call you when they're issued and
Sure.
come to pick them
Knock
up?
on the window?
Knock on my window, the drive-through. Yeah.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Joanne, we should create you an app, Joanne. It'd be awesome. It'd be just like ordering at McDonald's.
I know. Well, no, one of these days I'm going to start handing out French fries. So just stay tuned.
Let me know when that comes up.
I will.
Yeah, make sure to call me with that.
Okay.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. You too. Good night.
Good night. Our next public hearing this evening is the ANRAD off of Wright Road. DEP file number 100-0445. And did you prepare an ORAD?
I do have an ORAD prepared. I think since this has happened so quickly, I would suggest it would be a good idea for us to hear from our peer reviewer. He sent us our report, which you all have, just to have him take 1 or 2 minutes to walk through his process. And we have, let's see, we've got Scott and Kyle from Oxbow here. And maybe they could take a minute or two to respond to Brandon, and then we could get to the ORAD.
Very good. Can you do that, gentlemen?
is this for Stratton Hill or for 0 Washington Street?
This is for Stratton Hill. No?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
never mind.
so this is the one that Ecotech and Art Allen were the peer reviewers, which we've heard from already.
We have heard from them already. This is the trouble with having 2 of these things going on at the same time, that I really have spaghetti brain here, so my apologies. We did get a note from Seth Donahoe for this ORAD saying he would not be able to join us tonight. So I do indeed have this ORAD ready to sign. He was happy to have you all approve this without him present.
Any discussion about the ORAD off of Wright Road?
Nope.
Everybody good?
Yep, seems fine.
Motion to approve and sign the ORAD off of Wright Road, DEP file number 100-0445.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
I,
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. So we need to close this out now. Motion to close the ANRAD off of Wright Road, DEP file number 100-0445.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
I,
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Motion is carried. Okie dokie. The next public hearing this evening is an ANRAD at 0 Washington Street. DEP file number to be assigned. Is this,
So all that stuff that I said about the other one, this is the one.
this is the one? Okay. So the peer review, gentlemen, can you give us your thoughts,
Yeah, if we could have Brandon go first, that'd be great.
please? Brandon, you want to go first?
Oh, I think you're muted, Brandon.
Yeah, you're muted.
There I am. Can everyone hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I was there on the 11th, and how I go about doing a peer review is the first thing I do is what I call a walkabout, where I just walk around the property in general, get a feel for it, feel for the vegetative community, the topography, and the hydrology. While I'm walking around, I'm looking for areas that might have been missed. In this case, there were no wetlands on site that they missed outright. So then what I do is I pick a spot to start my review, and I start walking along the wetland line, checking the vegetation, checking the soils with a Dutch auger, other forms of hydrology, and walk the whole thing. I didn't make too many changes. It was a pretty good wetland delineation. Along the east side of the property is a long linear BVW with an intermittent stream in the middle that, it's a seasonal stream. I made changes, a couple of changes where I thought that it would be better to connect two wetland flags and eliminate the one in the middle and kind of straighten the line out a little bit more. There was only one spot where I actually put up my own flags as I put them up as a recommendation for the wetland delineator for the applicant to go and check. In this case, it appears that they agreed with what I put up, so they located those flags and incorporated those into the plan. And those were along the A series line in the area of flags A29 and A30. I did find a few flags that were up, but they were not located. So I made note of those. And then I went down to the very north end rear of the property on the other side of the National Grid easement. At the bottom of the hill is a large marsh swamp complex where they did not delineate the wetlands, but I made note of the approximate location of where the BVW line would be if they were to delineate it. And the only other area of note would be along the western property line associated with the B series. Just off site to the west near flag B1, looks like an area to me that seasonally floods and could be a potential vernal pool. So the water may come up into the property, it may not, but it's very close. So I thought it would be something good to note qualitatively for the Conservation Commission. I sent in the report. I hope you all had a chance to read it. I include pictures, some figures. showing what I did. I bring a GPS with me to GPS locations, so I'm as accurate as possible with what I bring back to the commission, bring back to the applicant with my recommendations, so they are clear with what I'm thinking and where I'm thinking about it. So that's what I did. That's how I do it. And I'll give it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Was that one picture with the tree that the beaver brought down? Is that close to that area you were talking about?
That's in the northwest corner of the lot, right down by the water in an area that was not delineated.
Okay.
But yes, definitely lots of beaver activity down by the water. I could see a beaver den. It looked like it was abandoned, but who knows?
Welcome to Ayer, the land of multiple beavers.
Yep.
Joanne, I just want to ask really quickly, we have this down for about 5 minutes, which we're almost out on. Is that right?
Since we've had the two other continuations, I think we can really keep talking about this until about 5 minutes of 8. So
Okay.
yeah, we can keep going.
Great.
Thanks for asking.
Yep.
All right. So any other comments?
From Oxbow, or are you asking from us, John? I'm sorry.
Anyone?
Okay. Well, I guess, is Joanne was recommending, is there, I guess, any comments coming back from Oxbow folks at all?
Yeah.
The applicant?
Hi, I'm Scott Smyers from Oxbow. Yes, I think I can summarize that we had made those revisions from Brandon and ESI on the revised plan that was submitted. We also sent in some revised data sheets, and everything should be there that you need for approving the wetland boundary and resource areas as they are marked on the revised plan. I could share my screen and show you in a little bit more detail some of those areas that he was mentioning, but it's not necessary if you think you have everything you need. And there were some flags that he documented in his report, and some areas that are off-site on the other side of the property boundary that we don't dispute, but at the same time, we're limited to our scope of just the property itself. It's good to be aware of those things, but we're only asking for the flags that we've shown on the plan and the resource areas depicted therein. We have to come back for some other reason to get close to these off-site wetlands or interior wetlands such as streams or the perennial stream far to the north, and we'll have to deal with that under a separate application or review. But I think we are confident in the plan, the revised plan that you're looking at today as the final plan.
Any other comments? Questions?
Yeah, so Brandon, I was just curious again. You said you thought the potential vernal pool was about 100 feet off the property line. Was that?
No, I think that the potential vernal pool is going to come up much closer to that if the water stain leaves and watermarks I saw at the bottom of some trees and shrubs end up being true indicators come springtime. It's going to be much closer than 100 feet.
So it's not on the property, but it is close to the property.
Correct. So I agree that one cannot flag other people's property, at least not intentionally, or include them in the ANRAD. But I just want to make a qualitative observation that around the area of flag B1, there's a potential vernal pool off-site, and it might come slightly on-site, but not very much at all.
Well, and the good thing to remember for everyone is that under our new local wetlands bylaw, vernal pools are considered a wetland resource area. Although, you know, honestly, it's quite likely that the land that's going to be set aside in permanent protection will take this out of play. I think we can talk about that at the conservation analysis and recommendation part of this discussion.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe that it would still be in play possibly, but and Brandon, when you say it would be much closer as the water came up, I mean, hazard a guess as to closer, like.
I have a sketch. So you're allowing screen shares?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, which one did I create? No, not that one. Not that one. Hold on. Almost there.
I mean, I see in your report you have it outlined with the blue line.
Yeah.
And if it's to
There it is.
scale,
Okay,
then
okay.
I guess
So
that blue line would be,
it's figure 2 of the report.
yeah, maybe 30 feet.
Yeah, plus or minus.
Yeah.
Do you want me to share that?
If you could.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, go ahead.
Share screen. Screen 1. There we go. Share. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
So I went over to, what I did is I overlaid the site plan with the 2019 aerial photo. And I took a couple GPS points. I do that here and there. And when I do the overlay, I see how close they line up. And for, you know, GPS, that's a pretty good fit right there between flags B1 and B10. And then I walked over to the west a little bit from flag B1, and I GPSed the point where I started seeing the water stained leaves, where water might come up in the springtime. And then I did in blue the approximate outline of what the shape of it is. So, and then I marked it as a PVP. So it's close. So, you know, the idea is you know, regarding your bylaw, you know, maybe you have certain no build or no structure zones from a vernal pool versus just a BVW you might want to know about, you know, otherwise you might not know about this.
So just so we get clarification, so the blue water line that you have there, that you believe is the high point, or is that the current level?
I believe that's what will be the high point.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's an approximation, but I think it's pretty good.
Okay. Yep.
I'd like to just point out for clarification that that is within the wetland, right? It's not outside the wetland boundary.
Correct. It is within that. What would be the B series BVW if they continued flagging offsite?
So if you put a 100-foot buffer zone around that and you put a vernal pool inside of it, or you leave it as without a vernal pool inside of it, you still have the same 100-foot buffer zone.
Yep.
So from a jurisdictional perspective, I don't think it really matters.
Well, from a jurisdictional reach, maybe, but as far as performance standards for work next to a BVW versus a vernal pool, I don't know, they might be different. So again, it's just a qualitative observation for the commission to do with whatever you know, however you're going to handle it in the future.
Yep. No, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right, I'll stop share. There you go.
Any other discussion?
Just Mark, you had an affinity for that very, very large boulder.
That's right.
I did.
Can I suggest,
Whatever you want to call it, I suppose, right? So, you know, it is something that would be nice to be incorporated, I guess, into the design as you guys go forward. So just something to think about. Actually, I think I can actually see it from the aerial photo.
Is that something we want to save for the conservation analysis discussion, though?
Agreed, sorry.
Yeah, that was going to be my suggestion, is that we save that for the conservation analysis and go ahead and finish the discussion and the vote on the ORAD.
Any other discussion on the ORAD? Nope. So we can vote to accept and sign this particular ORAD. Motion to accept and sign the ANRAD or ORAD, Washington Street, 0 Washington Street. We still do not have a DEP file number.
I believe you do, Mr. Chairman.
We do.
We do?
Yes, it's 100-0453.
Thank you. All right, so is there a motion to approve and sign the ORAD at 0 Washington Street, DEP file number 100-0453?
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by George Bacon, is seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
I,
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Is there a motion to close the ORAD at 0 Washington Street, DEP file number 100-0453?
So moved.
Second.
Was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
I,
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. All right, let's move on to the conservation analysis and conservation recommendation at 0 Washington Street. DEP file number 100-0453.
would this actually have to have a DEP number? It's not under an order of conditions application.
No.
ORAD?
No, the
Conservation analysis.
conservation analysis discussion.
Oh, that would be just an artifact there.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah, it's that project, but
We have a map. Is there a map of the?
well, so Mr. Chairman, can I just clarify what the applicants are actually going to do tonight? I've spoken with both Alex Para and Scott Smyers about how they wanted to approach the conservation analysis. And
Yes, please.
gentlemen, what was the conclusion? Would you like us to go forward with this, moving towards making the recommendation tonight, or do you want to come to our next meeting?
We'd like to discuss it this evening, right? Yes.
Okay.
Good. So when I was talking with Scott earlier in the day, I had asked that he share his screen so that we have the aerial photo showing the line that you all just accepted, the natural heritage, the edge of the natural heritage mapping units, and the big trees if possible. And then the high, medium, and low conservation value areas.
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, one of the things you talked about the priority, well, let me just just to make sure we're on the same page with the revisions I had prepared. Yeah, here it is. This one. So if you look at this is where the 3 revisions were along the wetland line. Okay. See the red circle here.
I
Thank
can't,
you.
I can't see anything on the screen.
No. All right.
Let you share an application versus a screen.
Nothing still.
Nothing.
We're seeing the end of your
Table of contents.
table of contents. Yes.
There we go.
See that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Go back up.
All right. Well, this is the conservation analysis. It's not going to show me exactly what I wanted to, but the priority map that that Joanne mentioned, here we have it, right? And
Yeah.
here's the wetland here, and the revisions were right along the western edge. This red indicates the buffer zone and the wetland, okay? And this is the priority habitat back here to the north. And if we look at this next one, this was the original one we submitted. Then we look at this next one, I have a little circle highlighted here. Can you see that?
Yep.
And that little bump is that area where flags 29A and 29B were added. So it slightly changes the buffer zone in there for the priority habitat or the priority area. So again, back to the original, that same area is right here. And this is the slightly revised version right there. Okay.
Yep.
And then Joanne wanted me to also go over the plans. I'm gonna move this thing. Stone wall map, right? Or here's the priority habitat, the stone wall. Here's the stone walls along there. And the trees, right? So I can zoom this out a little bit so we can see it all in one. These are some of the larger trees.
Do the colors indicate different species?
That's correct. You can see down here, black oak, paper birch, red oak, white pine, okay?
Yeah.
So a lot of those bigger trees are back in this northern area, right? But then there's some scattered around here, and a lot of them are essentially within the wetlands. So those are some of the things that I know we wanted to take a look at. And then again, we'll go back to the stone wall version where we had some stone walls that we documented, the green being the stone walls, the red being the property boundary, which of course sometimes coincide. And then the priority map, like I mentioned, we looked at that already. This one here. So with that said, do you have any questions about the any parts of the conservation analysis? We're just trying to outline the main parts. Of course, from our perspective, the conservation analysis, I know, is a unique review to the town of Ayer, but it's very similar to what we go through with rare species projects, same sorts of principles. And I think it's good to put it in perspective of, okay, high priority should be any rare species habitat that's mapped on site. And I will point out that we have been already in contact with the Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program. They have seen some preliminary plans of our proposed work here, and we have received a letter from them saying that if we keep our work to the footprint they have seen, then we can get a no take from the rare species perspective on that. So we've done our homework there. We're prepared in that regard. But secondarily, we have the wetlands that are associated with the site that aren't necessarily in rare species habitat, right? We're not touching, we're not, doing anything to the wetlands on this site. So that's the priority, to keep out of the wetlands. And then third is the buffer zones to those wetlands is obviously within your jurisdiction as a Conservation Commission and under the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act. And so we're restricting our work in the buffer zone anywhere we can. But we're not here to talk about the project necessarily. We're here to talk about the property. And so, but I need to put that into context so you just are aware that we have been working with natural heritage. So I think I'll leave it there and open it up for any questions that you might have, and let me know if you want me to show anything else from the conservation analysis document or any other figures that I've shown you so far.
Where on that map is Mark's Rock?
I don't. That's a good question. He said he could see it from the aerial photos. I thought it was.
Yeah, so I think it's, you see your green stone? Yeah, there you go. That's,
right there. You think that's it?
there. Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be my best guess.
Yeah. That seems about right to me, but we did not locate that with the GPS at this point. But I'll make a note of that right now.
So does that fall within the high priority conservation value, red?
No, I think it's in the medium. That's actually what I was going to ask. Is it possible? Do you maybe have something that overlays all the three figures you were just showing us? The trees, the high priority, and the walls and all? Although
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty easy to do. It just gets busier and busier once you do that. Yeah.
I like busy.
Yeah. But the trees, what was it again? The stone walls and the priority?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Thank you.
On 5 minutes.
Thank you, Jen.
Do you have a figure that delineates the low, medium, and high priority habitat, or low, medium, and high conservation portions?
Yeah, that's what this one is here. The high being the red, the medium being the yellow, and green being low. The only part that's green is down here.
Okay.
And those are, of course, defined by your own definitions.
Are those definitions in the report?
Yeah, but the definitions are on your guidance on the conservation analysis requirement of the OSRD section of the air zoning bylaw. And it has an extensive bullet list, highest priority areas for conservation, medium, and then low.
And I think it'd be nice to add it into the report, because other people are going to read this and it's going to be around for posterity. So it'd be nice if it was all wrapped up in one report, so people don't have to go searching around for other references.
Well, maybe we could just add that to the appendix or something, like, just so we can have it cross-referenced.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you generating the multi-view right now as we speak, or no? I'm sorry.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I took a note that I can do that, but yeah, I can't do it on the fly quite like that.
Okay,
Sorry.
I wasn't sure.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good. Anybody other questions?
If I may, I have a question, Alex Parra. These things that we've been discussing tonight, are those things that you would like to see as changes to the report and a revised report submitted? Is that my understanding?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
kind of looking at this, the conservation analysis as a multi-draft document. And it just gets better and better every time we take a look at it. Commissioners, I would be all right in recommending to you that these high priority areas that are classified in red here could serve as our conservation recommendation to the planning board. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Seems like a good idea.
Yeah,
And if you could direct me to draft narrative conservation recommendation and then a graphic conservation recommendation and get it to the planning board before their next meeting, which I think is December 9th. Is that right, Alex? Do you know?
My understanding is that the planning board would be reviewing a preliminary plan on December 9th.
Okay.
And so with respect to, I'm just trying to understand this process now, is we're going to make a few revisions that we've discussed to the conservation analysis. And at that point, the Conservation Commission is satisfied with the content of the analysis. Is that correct?
I think that is correct.
Okay, and then from there, there would be a transmittal to the planning board saying that the Conservation Commission has reviewed the analysis and is satisfied with it. And then the planning board takes it up in connection with the OSRD preliminary plan, right?
Well, the one step that you need to add to that is that they, the Conservation Commission, makes the formal recommendation based on this analysis. So this analysis becomes part of the recommendation, but the recommendation itself will be a document that looks a lot like this image that's annotated, and then there'll be a written description of it.
And that's something that you can draft, Joanne?
Oh, yes. Yep.
And will we have an opportunity to review that before it's submitted to the planning board?
Oh, I would think that the commission would absolutely want you to see it before it goes to the planning board.
And our next meeting is December 3rd, so that's before the planning board's meeting.
Yep.
John, we're at time for this.
So then I would just quickly, and I don't want to take up any more of your time, but if we could have the draft of the recommendation and review it, and any issues or concerns that we may have, we can discuss on December 3rd.
I guess, sure, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah, I can, I can absolutely draft this, and next week is kind of a funny week, but I would say by the Thanksgiving break, I could have a draft of this out to everybody. And then the commissioners can respond to me one at a time, and we can have a robust review of this before the next meeting, and hopefully come to the next meeting with everybody on the same page.
And Joanne, that draft would go to the applicant too, correct?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure that was understood.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time and consideration this evening.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you too.
Yes, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, absolutely.
you.
Thank you.
We'll
Thanks,
get you
Dave.
those revised documents.
Thank you.
All right, great, thanks.
All right. So, our next, oh, can you take this down?
Scott, can you stop your screen share, please?
Scott is muted.
Oh, Scott.
But he can still hear us, even if he's muted.
There he goes.
There we go.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. All righty. So, our next item this evening is the public hearing. Notice of intent, Snake Hill Road right-of-way, Aho Development. So we don't have a DEP file number assigned to them yet. They wish to continue until December 3rd.
Well, it's actually the commission that wishes them to continue until December 3rd. This is your under your authority, John, with
Oh,
the
that's right.
Municipal Relief Act.
Yep.
Yep.
So, motion to continue the notice of intent of Snake Hill Road right-of-way, DEP file number to be assigned until December 3rd.
I'll move.
Second.
It's moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen votes aye. We will take this up on the 3rd. So the next item or action items to discuss status of moving forward with applications during the pandemic state of emergency. So,
Yes, and I'm going to be super brief with this. We just got notified that what I call the superpower of the chair to continue hearings is being discontinued by the governor. So we're back to pre-pandemic rules of the road in terms of opening hearings and whatnot. So we've got to open the public hearing for 1 Bishop Road, and we have to hear the RDA for the MBTA vegetation management project at our December 3rd meeting.
okay.
And thankfully, we haven't gotten any new applications. Knock on all the wood that you can find.
Got a lot of wood in my house. It's a log cabin. So shall we move on to Conservation Office updates?
Yes.
Quick time check. It's 8:13. Joanne, I didn't know if we were going to 8:30 still, or if you're anticipating longer than that.
We are going till
8:30.
8:30. So I wrote for you all the packet preview that has an awful lot of information about the office updates. So
Yes, thank you.
I think if any of you have any questions about any of those projects or situations, you can ask me about them. Otherwise, I don't really see a reason to go through them all again. And I thought I'd pick up with the newer things that have happened since I wrote that that preview. So do you have any questions about any of those projects?
Your third bullet about Calvin Moore's tree box or whatever, like who indicated they were dead?
Someone from the DPW. He got a letter, Calvin did, that he waved at me and said the DPW says my tree box filters aren't working because the bushes are dead. So his tree box filters have lilac shrubs planted in them. And I said, well, Calvin, I can tell if a plant is dead or alive, even if it doesn't have leaves on it. So he and I met over there and I showed him the scratch the stem a little bit with your thumbnail. And if it's bright green underneath, the plant is very much alive, and they were all alive.
Okay.
So he was going to take that up with the DPW.
Okay, you don't need to send anything to the DPW?
No,
Okay.
no. Though I'm happy to show the DPW how to tell if shrubs are alive or not also.
That's fine.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ken.
might be able to clarify that just a bit.
Which part?
The story on 217 West Main Street, Calvin's tree box filter.
Yep.
The request came in from Mr. Moore to Charles Schultz to get his final occupancy on the project. And in order for him to get a final occupancy permit on the project, the concessions were made at the original permits that he could occupy the project until the end, and we would only hold back the final occupancy permit in the event that things were not complete. So a request had to be presented by Mr. Schultz to the planning board to do a site inspection. The planning board then asked the DPW to join in the site inspection, and that generated a punch list. So that's in essence what happened. Whether they know whether the tree was alive or not, I could just tell you that's the history of the request. That's the reason they were on the site in the first place.
Okay, all right.
Thanks, Ken.
That clears things up. Thank you.
Good, and Calvin's also going to be submitting a request for COC to us for that project.
Okay.
All right, any other questions about the updates that I sent you?
The beaver solutions. So Nonacosius Brook, those got a culvert.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
so-
beaver in the culvert.
You remember when you guys went out to look and discovered the spooky abandoned building near it, like behind the DPW?
Yeah.
And there was a couch in the brook
Yep.
on that sewer right of way. Well, there's a parallel sewer right of way downstream going towards Shirley.
Okay.
And there's a gigantic culvert that the brook passes through. It must be easily 6 feet in diameter, just a gigantic culvert. And the sewer pipe crosses that culvert perpendicular to the flow of the stream and the culvert, and the beavers have climbed up into that culvert and started building a dam on the sewer pipe in the culvert. And the water is backed up. I suggest taking a walk over one of those easements in the next few days to see how much water is backed up in there. I talked to Mark Wetzel about it. He does have the ability to keep culverts clear without having to get a permit. Problem with this beaver situation is just downstream of the dam inside the culvert is another beaver dam. So that's the situation.
Okay.
Beavers, more beavers. Mike did inspect our other beaver deceivers and everything's in good shape. So that was the good news from that visit. Anything else?
Brian Anderson didn't pick up his order of conditions. Did you contact the fellow who was working on that, the engineer?
No, I haven't contacted him yet. I'm not sure. I will. I absolutely will. I'm not sure how much sway he's going to have. well, we don't have the budget really to do this. It is possible for a commission to record orders themselves.
Yeah, not
Um,
a good idea to get into that.
oh,
And this is connected to an enforcement order, so.
Yep.
um,
How long have they been sitting?
I don't, did we issue those at our last meeting or the meeting before?
Meeting or at
I think, wasn't it?
No, a couple of weeks or a month anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the 22nd, I believe.
Well, let's be thinking about what to do. What to do there. I've done the inspections for the PFAS plant, and they're all set to go. A tiny, high-functioning construction site. The guys working over there all really truly understand what an environmentally sensitive location that is, and I think they love working over there because it's just so beautiful. Groton Shirley Road, the contractor had to actually install the compost socks according to the approved plan. I inspected them. They were not installed according to the approved plan, and they did make the changes they needed to make on that. So before I start going on, and any other questions about anything?
who's that guy, George, who had wanted to talk about signs?
Yeah, that's on my list. And I do have a draft of some language, George, that I'll send to you for a sign that could go on a property that has an order of conditions on it. And I did find our graphic designer's contact information. So we could absolutely move forward with getting a few signs made.
Okay.
But I'll email you the draft language tomorrow.
Would these be signs similar to the other ones that, the aluminum signs?
Well, I'm not sure we want to put that much money
It's money
into
it?
them. They could be a more
Like
Yard sign.
election signs, campaign signs.
yeah, campaign yard sign kind of signs, knowing that they're going to disappear.
Yeah.
But if we have our beautiful egret logo and our colors, and we could get Nick to do us up a little bit of artwork. I think we could get some much lower cost signs to deploy. But George, I'll send the language to you, and you and I could work on that if you'd like.
Okay.
All right. It's budget season in town hall. We've been requested to submit a level funded budget and to also scale back any spending that we do. We've got a pretty lean budget as it is. I think I'll work with John on this. This first round is due back to our town manager on December 3rd, which is the date of our next meeting. So, I think if we can show them a little bit of savings on, you know, a couple of our budget lines, that would be a good thing to do.
Were they concerned for some reason?
Well, it's interesting. Apparently, the selectmen are very concerned about town meeting and town meetings' willingness to vote on spending items. I understand that the revenues coming into the town are right on target, so folks are paying their real estate taxes and water and sewer bills. So the town is really fortunate in the middle of all that's going on in the world right now that financially the town's in a very strong position.
I'm surprised. I would have thought there would have been more past due.
Yeah, no, we had a department head meeting the other day, and the report is that we're right exactly where they would expect us to be right now, revenue wise. So that was heartening.
And yet,
And yet,
The future looks a bit uncertain.
it certainly does, and you know, we can do our part.
okay.
You know, I think the
All right.
Conservation Commission's budget is really the least of anybody's worries.
I can work with you on that, Joanne.
Okay, great. Let's see, we've got 4 minutes. Let me pick and choose the juiciest bits here.
While you're thinking about that, I guess I think I have a conflict next meeting on the 3rd. So you'll still have a quorum without me, correct?
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I think the two things I'll talk about really quickly. The Rohit would like to know, now that we've straightened out the line on the CR after George and I took a walk in the rain with Kyle, if the commission is likely, extremely likely, to accept that CR before he and I put an awful lot of work into getting the CR in shape. And I've had a couple of long talks with him about this. I think it would be in the town's very best interest for us to accept this CR, especially since it is going to adjoin the CR for the Washington Street subdivision. But I did tell Rohit it's absolutely up to you guys. But my recommendation is that we do accept it.
I'd suggest, John, you just informally poll the commission to see what people are thinking.
What are you thinking, Jess?
I'm thinking I'd accept it, so.
How about you, Jen?
I agree.
George?
I agree.
Mark?
I believe so. I'm still I still like George's recommendations about somehow or another getting some access and things like that. But I don't know if that's possible based on the discussion we've had.
Well, I think if it abuts the other CR, and you can have access that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
And access through the other CR really is the high, dry, and pricker-free way to get into the air solar 2B CR. There's, short of going up the driveway, which we're not going to be able to do.
Right.
Getting in off Pleasant Street is practically impossible. And walking down through the Washington Street CR is very pleasant.
Well, regardless, I guess I'd be willing to take it.
Okay, so that's 4.25, 4.5, Mark?
Probably.
And then Cindy did tell me we could go a couple minutes over, so I'm gonna take her up on her gracious offer to let you know that I've had some more back and forth with DEP about 0 Central Ave. I have sent the draft special conditions to the applicant. I haven't been able to complete Form 5 because the information on the notice of intent is incompatible with issuing an order of conditions. And I keep asking our circuit rider what am I missing here? And it really is the quality of the notice of intent. So I talked to her again today about this. She wrote us an email tonight at 5 o'clock, which I glanced at with one eye, that I will review again and send on to you all tomorrow. She was saying that since we haven't closed the public hearing, even though you've moved to issue an order of conditions, and I hate even to suggest this, but someone could make a motion to revisit this. And I think her email of 5 o'clock is maybe a way that we can actually move forward. The other thing to do would just be to revisit it and deny it. So I hate to open this up again, but I have tried and tried and tried to complete Form 5, and it just.
What specifically on Form 5 are you having trouble?
Well, so they're proposing work in an intermittent stream, but in the resource area delineation is only for BVW. There's no bank. So an intermittent stream doesn't have land underwater, but it does have bank. And you'd have to take a look at Form 5 to see my particular difficulty here.
I thought that the intermittent stream had armored walls or something. Did I remember seeing something like that?
Well, so we've been told that the bottom of the stream is armored. We haven't seen it. We don't have any proof of it. Kim was saying if the bottom is armored and the sides are also armored, that's one situation. But by foregoing the site walk, and I completely understand why you did that, we don't know. And it makes a difference.
We wouldn't have known anyway, given that particular day. Because it was
right. So I'm really hoping her 5 o'clock email sheds a whole bunch of really bright light on this situation so that we can just move on from here. But I tried 5 or 6 different times thinking, oh, it must be me. There must be something that, and every single time it's like, wow, this is just not possible. So anyway, that's,
So you'll get us that email so we can take a look at it?
Yep.
Boy, that is really good news.
Well, let's hope it is really good news.
Wait, what's good news?
And we get to continue with this.
Yeah, I know.
Not good news.
Well, we need to move this along one way or the other. And,
Yeah.
and I think our circuit rider is really trying the best she can, given that she's actually works for the appeal agency, and she's got to be a little mindful of that. She's doing the best she can to help us in a
Yeah,
confounding situation.
but we can't really discuss it until we see that email.
Right, exactly. And then the one last 30-second thing, I talked to our new fire chief about the flashboards at Balch Pond Dam. And I think it's going to be his desire to move that responsibility out of the fire department and perhaps into DPW. And I've got to touch base with him again to see if the flashboards are in or out. When I spoke to him, he didn't honestly know if they were in or out.
Is that a hard thing to do, to get those flashboards out?
I don't know. I've never actually climbed down there to see what they look like.
I think it depends on whether the water is flowing or not.
Yeah, how much pressure is against them, right? That'd be fun to yank those things out though, wouldn't it?
But putting them back in the spring when the water is flowing could be a bit trickier.
Yeah, you can do that.
I can do that?
Yes.
I could do that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so we're 6 minutes over, and I would recommend we wrap this up.
Okay, anybody else have any other comments or suggestions? Words of wisdom?
Happy Thanksgiving.
And a happy Thanksgiving, yes, too.
Yeah, enjoy, everybody.
Yeah. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to adjourn was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Yes?
I
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. We are adjourned.